Commissioners Court meeting this morning, March the 15th, which is the Ides of March, if you know what that means. But my wife is a school teacher 35 years, so I know what it is. At this time we have, we usually open with a word of prayer, and I've asked Commissioner Gaskell to lead us.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all you do for us, Lord. And Lord, I pray you go with us through this meeting, help us make the right decisions for we can. In Jesus' name we pray,
amen. This is time for public comments. If you have any comment to make on anything besides the item on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll go to number 2, consider approval of personnel action. From the Wood County Sheriff's Office, Christopher A. Stamport. This is a full-time hire as a jailer. From Carol Taylor, County Tax Collector, Emily Goings. This is a salary increase. Carol Taylor, Tax Collector. Also a resignation from Brittany Hayes. Carol Taylor, Tax Collector, a higher temporary help from D. Tackett. Kelly Price, County Clerk, part-time Vicki Sprayberry. I believe that's all the personnel action. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consider the payroll. The payroll today is in the amount of $283,611.05. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 4. Consider approval of line item transfers and budget amendments. It is from the Justice of Peace Precinct 2, District Court. That's the line item transfers and a total of $325. Budget amendments in the form of $215,962.85 from different departments, Road and Bridge, Sheriff's Department. So, do I hear a motion?
To approve.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consider approval of claims. Accounts payable is in the amount of $300,703.83. Health, dental, vision insurance in the total of $21,887.64. Isn't it another one somewhere besides the accounts payable? I don't see that one. Direct claims. Go ahead and name the amount.
For direct payable is $46,682.04.
Okay.
And voided checks $8,684.03.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consider approval of interlocal agreement with Winsboro ISD for street repairs and materials through March the 1st of 2014. Commissioner Shirley.
That's just an agreement with them, interlocal, normal thing every year we do to help them out on their repairs. Just make a motion that we approve this. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 7, consider approval of constable reports. I believe we have Precinct 1. Precinct 3. And Precinct 4, but I don't see number.
Who's in there? I seen it.
Yeah. Okay. I hear a motion to accept these reports.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 8, consider approval of racial profiling report for Precinct 4 Constable. Precinct 4, Richard Scott Price. What do I need to read on this? Just, we've got the report. Said I certify it is not the policy of this agency to make traffic stops in the routine performance of the officer's duties. And Article 2.132 CCP law enforcement policy on racial profiling. Just a order we put into the minutes, I believe. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 9, consider approval of proclamation designating March the 17th through the 23rd, 2013 as Poison Prevention Week. This is a yearly proclamation. I think it needs to be read, so bear with me. Whereas our society has become increasingly dependent on household chemicals to perform labor-saving, time-saving miracles and on medicine to provide giving, life-sustaining benefits, and whereas these products, when not used as intended or directed, may be hazardous, particularly if children gain access to them, and whereas over the past 51 years, the nation has been observing Poison Prevention Week to call attention to these hazards and how proper handling and disposal of these substances and proper use of safety packaging can help eliminate them. And whereas the efforts of our community organizations, complemented by the efforts of the North Texas Poison Center, have reduced childhood poisoning in Wood County. Whereas the North Texas Poison Center, a regional poison center, located at Parkland Health and Hospital System, provides the ultimate in human service programming, immediate, accessible emergency information to save lives of victims of poison-related emergencies, and whereas these programs must continue as long as even one child swallows a household product or medicine by mistake. Now, therefore, we, the Wood County Commissioners Court, do hereby proclaim the week of March the 17th through the 23rd, 12, should be 13, as Poison Prevention Week in this county. Further, we direct the appropriate agencies in our local government to continue their cooperation with concerned citizens and community organizations, including our schools, to develop programs which will alert our people to the continued danger of misusing medicines and household products, and to promote effective safeguards against accidental poisoning among young children. Passed, approved, and adopted this 15th day of March 2013. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Not only children, you know, this, we need to know that number. I think we have the number at County Barn, so it includes everyone, really. Item 10, consider approval of treasurer's reports. Our county treasurer.
Good morning. I have two reports before you, the November and the December report. The January and the February report have been completed and awaiting review from the auditor's office. These two have been reviewed by the auditor's office, so I'll submit them for your approval. I'll recap a few of the highlights. Basically, we have moved into where the cash balance is increasing due to the tax collections. Thank you, Kara. So basically, the January will be even more promising. So basically, the cash has increased from the beginning of November to the end of December, from $13,500 to $13,500,000 to $14,400,000. So a tremendously increased balance. Also, our distribution right now, we're about 15% of it is at TexPool. The other 85% is between Bank Texas, our depository bank, or our non-depository investments. The CDs comprise about 60% of our total funds, where we were about 70%. So we are in the declining of our CD activity. Our monthly receipts for November were $2,250,000, and December it was $3,422,000, about $1 million over the month for each of those months over the October balances. The disbursements for November were $1,373,000, and December we were $2,100,000 in disbursements. So basically, that's just kind of an overview. The cash balance is going up. Our revenue receipts are increasing due to tax collections. Our level of CDs are about the same. Our CD payments for interest between CDs and bank accounts between the 2 months were $7,375 for interest earnings. There is a highlight that I needed to note to you on the pledge security page, which is toward the very back. For December, we were under pledged for December 31st, remembering that's a snapshot on that given day. We did have a conversation with the bank, and everything's been corrected in that process, and there's no damages done, but on this report we were pledged at 88% instead of 110%. There's a snapshot. There was immediately pledges that if we took the snapshot on January 3rd, we would not have that situation, but there was on December 31st. So I wanted to be sure and mention that to you, and that was abnormal, and I wanted to be sure to report it to you as that. We accrue about $2,000 extra on interest that has not been posted yet, but hopefully will be coming in or did come in January. Our range from our CD investments anywhere from 8 points to 1%, from a range of 60 days to 1 year. And that summarizes my reports for those 2 months. I appreciate the tolerance of submitting them late, but at the end of both fiscal year and calendar year, we have a lot of activity, and also the auditors have activities, so the review process is a little bit slower than normal, and also my preparation is a little slower. So basically, I present them for your approval for those 2 months, December and November.
Do I hear a motion to accept these reports?
Make a motion, we approve.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, while we're on the treasurer, item 11, consider approval of financial service agreements with Depository Bank, Bank Texas.
Those are really treasury management agreements, which are on top of the depository agreement that you have already approved for our depository contract. There's a lot of services that we're utilizing through Bank Texas that was not itemized in our depository contract. The ones that's before you, one of them is the remote capture agreements. One is for the tax collector, and the other one is a addendum to the one I have already had approved, that we're using those remote capturing machines to make some of our deposits. And so that is a very routine agreement that's before you. The other 2 agreements are agreements that have to do with our maybe additional changes to our investment policy. If it's all right with you, Roger, can I ask for y'all not to approve these agreements until we talk about the investment policy, and then y'all come back to this item?
Okay. Okay, we'll go down to number 12. Consider approval of revised Wood County investment policy and attached resolution.
Okay. The investment policy that the county has to have, it has to be reviewed by the Commissioners Court, and a resolution is to be approved that y'all have reviewed the policy and that you have no problems with the investment policy. And when I make my investments, I operate under that policy as well as the state statutes. I'll give you the highlights of the policy, and then you can present the resolution for approval of the revision of the policy and the appointment of the county investment officer. Last March 2nd, 2012, there was an investment policy that y'all approved, and we've used that as the basis to prepare this investment policy. And if you look inside the cover, there's just the highlights of what got changed between this policy and the one that you had previously approved. And basically, there's just 7 items. 8 was just minor formatting problems that we tried to correct while we make it a little bit better. The item number 1, we added a paragraph that says, while a local body may invest its funds in money market accounts under local under Government Code 2256, these codes are governed and when they exceed the maximum insured by federal law under 2257, which is the Collateral Act. Per the recommendation of Bank Texas, and there's an AG opinion in 2011 that we wanted to put that into our policy, so we added that both on page 9 and also page 18 because those are two different sections. One's the investment section, the other's the collateral section. So those are pretty uniform insertions. The other one, as I updated the training certifications, there's a flag on your copy that shows that I certified my hours, that I've completed sufficient hours as required by law. And then the Exhibit I is actually updating, also disclosing my business relationship with the banks that we do business with. So those are very universal, but they are being updated for the policy dates. I also added a new exhibit to give you the tax pool rating sheet because there's a new requirement to make sure that the pools have a certain rating, and so I thought we needed to put that in the policy to have as references. I did not make any changes to any of the references materials that's attached, such as the statutes, because we were off legislative years, so therefore there'd be no changes to those kinds of items. The other thing is that we updated on page 14 to change the Tax Association County's reference for the CIO, which is Certified Investment Officer Program, to be called Texas Investment Academy. So that's something that Texas Association County has changed, and we implemented those changes in our policy. However, in the process of doing that, the county judge recommended that the local policy have an increased training requirement over the statute, which the local policies can always do that. So there is an increased local education requirement from 10 hours to 15 hours, which is consistent with the Investment Academy. So he really felt the local policy should have that same level. So that was a change. The other thing that I changed was item 6, where we deleted the requirement of the banks being domiciled. That means they are residing and they operate only in Texas. The 2011 legislation changed that, where the branch or main bank has to be located in Texas, and there was one place that was not updated last year, so I updated that. The major thing that I wanted to kind of go over on the change to the investment policy is an example of what is allowed under the policy, and that's the Exhibit M, which is the very last exhibit of the policy. And basically I took an opportunity to actually give an example of what we're thinking about doing under the policy, and just to make sure that it's y'all's blessing that we participate in a program such as that. And this program is those agreements that I mentioned earlier about the treasury management services under Bank Texas. So those agreements have to do with this particular overview. And this overview is actually outlining how the program's called CDARS, C-D-A-R-S, and the ICS, which is the Insured Sweep Cash Accounts, operate. And basically how those things operate is basically the investing entity multiplies the FDIC coverages by placing their CDs under a local participating bank, and banks that are participating under that program gets those CDs and they reciprocate, meaning the money is not really leaving the local community, so the money can still operate and benefit the local community, but we can multiply the FDIC coverage. Some of the advantages is that we still get one statement instead of multiple CD certificates per month under our participating bank, which is our depository bank. We sign one agreement with that bank, which assumes the custodial agreement and invests the money on our behalf using our name. And the CDs are issued by the other members, but we receive a confirmation, we receive a statement from our local bank. These are programs that are available. The CDARS program has been available for 10 years, and we just really haven't had a bank locally that was participating in that bank, and our depository bank has approached us about a month ago on operating under this program. The insured cash sweep is almost the same thing as the CD function of it, but it is for the sweep account, meaning you do not have to purchase a CD for a term at a rate. You actually agree upon the rate, but as you need money, it's more liquid than the CDs. So basically, those are the changes that we made to the investment policy. The programs, when we had our meeting on the CDERS and the ICS, the county judge, county auditor, and myself, and the bank president talked about the program. He produced the agreements this week, and that's we're not investing in CDs until we determine this is the program that we need to go toward. The number one reason we're wanting to go to this direction is because it eliminates the need for pledged security activities. Therefore, we eliminate the risk. Say, for example, on our financials a while ago, we were not at the level that we needed to be. We eliminate that risk because we're using the FDIC coverage. So therefore, that is one of the advantages. The other advantage is that basically we are investing without having to actually physically take possession of certificates, manage certificates. We're actually online type transactions on that. I'm game in trying to move toward that. Like any other change, we are reluctant till we build our procedures. Also, the auditor is in the midst of auditing for the outside auditor, so we are gradually moving toward that if it is approved. We're not jumping hog into the process at this moment in time, but we are moving toward it, making a manageable plan if we are approved to move forward to that. So basically, it is something that is allowed under policy, has been allowed under the policy. I just want to be sure that you are aware of this process very clearly and that we are have your blessing before we move forward on it. Like I said, CDERS have been available for 10 years. I started looking at it for more than a year ago, but it just didn't pan out, so we kind of put it back on the table until the depository bank approached us about it. So that's how it came about and how we are interested in looking at that. Do y'all have any questions on the investment policy at this point? There is a resolution that's required if Roger will present that for your approval.
Resolution to adopt the Wood County investment policy. Whereas the Commissioners Court of Wood County, Texas desires the establishment of prudent investment policies, and whereas the Commissioners Court has reviewed the Wood County investment policy and believes its enactment would be to the financial benefit of Wood County, Texas, and whereas the Commissioners Court desires to hereby designate by order the Wood County Treasurer as investment officer of Wood County. Now therefore it is hereby ordered that the proposed Wood County investment policy is hereby adopted and that the Wood County Treasurer is hereby designated as the investment officer of Wood County, Texas, and instructed to implement the said Wood County investment policy. Passed and approved and adopted this 15th day of March 2013. So that would be under item number 12. Is consider a revised Wood County investment policy and attached resolution. Do I hear a motion from?
Make a motion to approve.
Approve.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appreciate what a good job you do, and this being a treasurer is really involved.
Takes a lot of energy. So back on 11.
11, yes.
Okay.
What do we need to do on that?
So we have the agreements that I mentioned. We have the remote capture agreement for the tax collector in my office, just signing that the machine that we are operating, that we have possession of it, and that we are, so we just need your blessing on those agreements. Then also there's an agreement for the CDERS, that CDARS agreement that the bank has asked us to sign to be able to start participating in the CDERS program. And then also the agreement for the ICS, which is the Insured Cash Sweep accounts, also participate in that. And those are pretty universal agreements, and they're not been edited to, they're just the universal to participate in the program.
Could you get with the county clerk and get this in the form of a motion?
Is there documents for that?
Yes, they should be. Well, they're not in the packet. There should be about 2 or 3 pages for the remote capturing agreements. I do not have the remote capturing agreements. I do have a copy of the CEDARS and the ICS agreements. The ICS agreement says deposit placement agreement. The CEDARS is the deposit placement agreement that is signed by Troy Robinson, bank president, and then has the place. And then I had where I had disclosed the banks that we do not want money placed in because we have already overlapping CDs at those locations. These are the CEDARS and the ICS. The remote capturing agreements, there was a single page for myself, which only gave the serial number for my machine that I'm using. And then, do you remember, Carol, what yours actually was? An agreement, about a page and a half agreement that Carol Taylor signed and the bank president signed. And then the next page was her serial number on her machine.
And basically, all it says is we have a machine and it's their machine and we're using it.
Yes.
That's
So that's
all it says.
I don't know how to word the.
So what I request is your approval for these agreements: the remote capturing machine, remote capturing treasury management agreements for the treasurer and the tax collector, and the CDAR agreement and the ICS agreement. So I ask for that approval.
Do I hear a motion to make?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you for.
Thank you very much. Maria should have those other.
Okay, the next one would be consider approval of tax exemption for Lake Country Playhouse Incorporated as a Texas historic landmark pursuant to section 11.24 of the Texas Property Tax Code. This is a yearly thing we have to do to grant them this exemption. We don't need to read it, do we? Do I hear a motion to?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. These last two are going to be 14 and 15. I believe both of them are going to be tabled. I believe, aren't they? Jerry, the last one you said table? Yes. Yeah, okay. No other business before the court. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? I'll make.
Adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Court is adjourned.